kept pulling on my shirt. So we're doing this again. And let's go. So I want to talk about running a creative business and having no self and the implications of what that means. So we're gonna start off with what does it mean to have no self, and then we're gonna talk about how that ties into running a creative business. Ow! I swear being a mom is just being abused all day. That's where I'm at with it. But so what does it mean to have no self? If you don't know, I have been on this dopamine detox now for 6 days. I will say the first 5 days. Wait, no, today's day 7. Actually, today's day 7. Here's some water. The first 5 days, I did amazing. I still haven't watched anything. Only thing I listen to is my mentor's trainings, but those are like 10 to 15 minutes each. But other than that, I'm not listening to anything, watching anything, consuming. However, let me tell you, phone addiction is real. So just like, I think it's a habit at this point to just like always grab for your phone. Like if there's a moment of downtime, grab for your phone. Like I'm somebody, I'll be standing in the grocery line and I'm on my phone, you know? So it's like very compulsive for me at this point, and that still rings true. So I'm just like checking my emails still, like nothing's there, but I'm checking my emails, you know? And I'm not watching YouTube videos, but I'll be scrolling on YouTube, you know? So stuff like that, I'm noticing that that's still a thing. And then also with Substack. See, people on Substack, they love to say, oh my God, this is so much better than TikTok and Instagram. And oh my God, the people here actually have brain cells and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Substack community is cool, but they also like, they got their nose in the sky, like they better than other people, or at least that's what I'm sensing, right? I could be projecting. I mean, I am projecting. Everything is a projection. But anyways, I say all this to say I've been reading a lot of blogs on Substack, which for me, I'm like, okay, this is like a healthier form of social media because I'm not being triggered like images every 10 seconds. You know, I'm not like just scrolling and watching a whole bunch of videos, but I am scrolling and reading. But I'm reading a lot of blogs. I'm reading a lot of long form posts. But it's still social media at the end of the day. So I would say day 5 and 6, that's what I was doing. And that's not a part of it. So I am going to do another week of the dopamine detox because what I found, and this is going to go into the no self, because baby, I go on a tangent. So I went on a little tangent, but we're going to bring this back into what it means to be no self, is what I found on the dopamine detox is that it's been really easy for me to have enough space within to see that I am not the conditioned mind. And it's like very apparent, like very, very apparent that my thoughts are no different than a passing car. My thoughts are no different than, you know, something that I would feel like is not me. Like this goddamn pillow, you know, like the pillow, like my thoughts are no different than that. It's just a impermanent sensation. It's just a sensation that rises and falls in the field of awareness. The only thing that is stable and that is real is the fact that I am aware. So the implications of this means that I am not a self. Like I am not a personalized self. That is the illusion. Illusion does not mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that it's not what it appears. So what it appears is if like my whole life, I've taken myself to be Taylor in this body with these, like believing my thoughts to be me. Believe it and these thoughts that cause me to suffer. I'm not opening this. No, I will not. So you can have these all over the floor? Absolutely not. No. So yeah, just like believing my thoughts to be me, and they will cause me to suffer, and they will cause me just so much angst and pain because I thought it was me. All right. But I'm realizing, well, the dopamine detox has just opened the space to that, because I've had, Satori. Is it Satori? No, not Satori. Is it? No, it's called what's the Zen word for? I feel like it's Satori. The Zen Samaya. No. Hey, you don't gentle, 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 gentle. Okay. Yay. No, we're not doing yay. You didn't even do gentle. Kensho. That's the word I'm looking for. Kensho. Nice. Yeah, her name is spelled Samiya. But I've had moments of Kensho, and where like the separate self seemingly collapses, and it's very evident that there is no separation between you and your environment, right? It's very evident that it's all one thing appearing as the many, like very evident. So I've had moments of those, but they would like never stick around. Which is also a trap, but I won't talk about that too much here, because I want to talk about the implications when it comes to running a creative business, right? I have a point. I just wanted to preface what it means to have no self to anybody that is new to non-duality, self-actualization, philosophy, in these terms of like going beyond the conception of unity consciousness, going beyond the conception of we are one, and being able to have direct experiences to seeing through the illusion of the fact that like you are a separate self, separate from your environment. Like that's just not the case. And this dopamine detox has really opened space for that to become even more apparent. That the idea that I am separate from my environment is simply an idea. Yes, pierce the veil. Exactly. So that's what's been happening. And really what contributes to that is the fact that I'm having to sit with the sensations where before I would be like grabbing my phone, oh, here's discomfort. Oh, here's whatever. Like I don't, and even calling discomfort, I'm getting out of the habit of doing that as well, because is it discomfort or is it just a sensation? But my thought is coming up and labeling it as uncomfortable, but it's not uncomfortable to the body. It's very neutral. So like having even like coming at it with very neutral language and not saying like, oh, I'm experiencing discomfort, but saying, oh, there's a piercing in my chest. Oh, there's a cooling sensation in my neck. My heartbeat is beating 3 times a minute, like 3 times this normal pace. So instead of going, I am uncomfortable, I'm just speaking the language of the body. Are you familiar with first matter? I'm not familiar with first matter and being God consciousness to grant your own desires. Maybe the second part, can you explain that more to me about being God conscious? Because I feel like that's going to go into my the second part of what I mean by having no self and running a creative business. Because having no self, you recognize that it is just God, that you are God, that you are projecting reality. I feel like every time I go to say that, there's a pause. Like there's this pause. There's this feeling of being exiled, See, look, I said a feeling of being exiled. I associated a story with what I was feeling, when really there's just like this pause. There's this clenching. My shoulders tend to go inward. And I noticed that like my breath will kind of stop for a bit whenever I'm about to talk about the fact that like when I say things like you are God, like you are projecting your reality. This is a dream. Because actually it doesn't matter. And see, that's also what I've been working with. Okay, baby. That's also what I've been working with in this dopamine detox, and like being like just noticing more space is again getting out of the stories. So you see, like it's just so a part of our lives to do that, to go, I'm feeling this way because of this. not even realizing that we are consistently writing our stories. So I was about to go into, oh, I'm doing this because something that happened to me in the past and da 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 da, making it alive in this present moment. The past never happened. It never happened. Not in the way we think it did. We are creating the past now by the stories that we are telling about it. So when I go to tell you I'm feeling this way because of X, Y, and Z, I'm creating the past now. The key is to catch yourself. Because you are not a self. You are God. So like basically we are all born of God or goddess. God said that we are all God. So when you get into that state, dark matter, first matter, then you can grant your own desires. So to get into that, you literally close your eyes and meditate in complete darkness. Yes, I love that. Okay, I love that. Yes. Okay. So yeah, so that was like the second part of this. And I talk a lot about that on my channel when it comes to like recognizing that we are God or goddess. So you need to know who you are. So if you feel hesitation around calling yourself God or goddess, you need to know who you are. Yes, absolutely. And that's been the like I said, the space that I've been sitting with this week in this dopamine detox is getting out of this habit, because it's just a program, getting out of this habit of naming all of my sensations, getting out of this habit of going into the old stories. What happened? It's okay, my lovely girl. Getting out of this habit of going into the old stories, because the old stories are literally, I'm creating that now, right? It's okay, my lovey girl. I know, my baby. Oh, my sweet girl. My sweet girl. And yes, creating new ones. Everything is mentalism and alchemy. Yes, exactly. Right, the first hermetic law, right? All is mind. Everything, all is mind. So we are literally projecting. Every single person is projecting their own world. And right now you are dreaming me into your projection. The same way that I am dreaming, like Kenya, I'm dreaming you into my projection. I'm also dreaming this body. I'm dreaming my daughter into form. And I have a lot of theories around why this happens, but for the most part, I think God just loves itself so much that it wants to like experience itself in all of the modulations and variations of itself. So it manifested itself into form, and into multiplicity, which is the multiplicity that we are experiencing and perceiving. And that's also what the dopamine detox is like showing me, going back to like seeing that my thoughts are just passing clouds. Like my thoughts are no more me than this. But then that's like, but that's the first, that's like the first breakthrough, is seeing that like my thoughts are no more me than this. But then you see that all is mind. All is mind. So like my thoughts are absolutely me, appearing in the form of thoughts, and then they go from being the master, they go from you taking yourselves to be that, to using it as a tool. And the tool goes into, here we go guys, finally doing your own thing, having a creative business, because you are the creator. So now I feel like the best thing you can do for yourself is create massive impact by creating and offering something to this world and earning beautifully from it. Hi K-Rock, how are you? I know, baby, your dad's almost home, baby. Sometimes when you realize on this level, it can be isolating, because it's like, damn, my mind is powerful, but is anything real? How do you deal with it? Ooh, let me tell you, I've been through so many depersonalizations, but then I realized that even that fear is seen. So like this idea of, oh, is anything real, and like the sensations that arise in the body from that, even that is seen through. So because God is not afraid, because we are actually not alone. I mean, we're alone. Like the way that the mind conceptualizes it is that like, oh, we're alone because we're projecting this entire experience. But we're not alone, because I have you, Kenya, and I have you, K-Rock, right? Even knowing that it's just modulations of my own mind, it doesn't scare like that. The mind would be terrified of that, because the individual mind wants to believe that it has autonomy. And so to recognize that there's actually no like individual self, the individual, that makes the conditioned mind afraid, because then it's like, oh, that must mean that I don't exist, right? God is not afraid of death. The individual mind is afraid of death. So I would say that the more that I just even see that in any thought of being afraid of being the only one here is simply a thought, and I just allow it to rise and fall in my awareness, then there's nothing like it's. I went through a whole thing with that, but that's because I was still clinging to my thoughts. I was still holding on. But then once I started to just allow it to rise and fall, like, oh, okay, even that, like, I am the I am. I am not affected by this. Like, as long as I am aware, then I am myself. And I am real. Everything else, anything that comes and goes is not real. So this thought of I'm alone and I'm afraid, that comes and goes. That is not real. I am the I am. I am real. So that's how I deal with that. So we are here to have a human experience, but we are always creating. Always creating. Everything is a manifestation. And we are, I mean, look at your world. It's interesting how we believe that this world is so much different than our sleeping dreams. Like, it's just a waking dream. It's no different. And when you sleep at night, what do? Your mind creates a world that's very similar to this one. It has all the components of this world, but it's, oh, thank you, bye, go. Your dad's here, go. Jesus Christ, thank you. And this world is the same, and you're creating it. You don't know how you're creating it, the same way you don't know how you digest your food, the same way you don't know how you grow grass, the same way you don't know how you see, you don't know how you hear. And for a lot of time, we just chalk that up to, well, this is science, or we chalk that up to, this is God. Like we're always trying to find ways to explain the unexplainable, but you get to a point where you're no longer interested in trying to explain the unexplainable. You just become quiet, and that's the point of the dopamine detox, is to allow enough space within yourself to become quiet, to stop trying to look for answers. When you stop trying to look for answers, the answers are revealed, and the answers are revealed as it all being yourself. And it's not going to make sense to your conditioned mind. It's not supposed to make sense. It literally can't. The conditioned mind does everything in its power to reject this message. It's not going to make sense. So that's why it's important to keep quiet. You said my name. I've been watching you for years. Really, Kitty? Yes! I love that. I love that. Yeah, I saved your paragraph about clinging to sensations, so treat it as a feeling. Oh, thank you so much, K-Rock. That makes so much freaking sense. Hi, Long Sin Cow Nose. Oh, you talking about my septum? But yeah. So when it comes to, and yeah, thank you so much, K-Rock. I appreciate you. When it comes to this and the implications of this, is that it makes it so much easier to like learn the essentials of business, right? Because before, it's like I feel like before, for a long time, I was trying so hard to run a business. I was trying so hard to get clients. I was trying so hard to show up and like post the content and talk about my business and market and sell and just like learn all the things. That's because I was doing it from the identity of still being, yo, you gotta go. Samaya, absolutely not. Y'all, I bought her this new toy. Let me tell you. Loud. Here, go play with it. Go play with your ladybug. Go. And go with your dad. I don't know why you in here when your dad is here. I need to have a one-on-one still tea. Yes, come on, K-Rock. Message me on IG or just sign up for the activation link that's in my videos. I should have put it on here. I'll probably put it on here when we get off the live. But I would love that. I always felt like I always felt that even the mind, how the fuck do memories work? I watched like 4 seasons of Everybody Hates Chris, and I was trying to find the episodes I didn't watch, and I was like, the human brain remembers so much stuff. I don't know. Hi, Star Goddess. Welcome, welcome. You know who I am, right? No. K-Rock? No. I mean, I see your name all the time, but do you mean like your personal identity? No. Yo, long saying. Okay, yeah, the human brain, it just, the whole memory is you give Sag. Really, no, I'm a Scorpio. Which is why I feel like because of that, I'm very intense. I feel very intensely, which is why I'm like amazing with alchemy, because I'm not afraid of my feelings and I'm not afraid of the darkness per se, because I love to feel, period. Like, and before I thought that I only wanted to feel pleasure, but then I realized that I also am very addicted to feeling pain. I just stopped. I'm just not calling it pain anymore. I'm just saying I'm addicted to sensations, period. And to stop and me no longer labeling it as like pleasure and pain makes the experience very enjoyable. And the thing is that we are. Wait till you remember who I am. We are friends on Instagram and TikTok. I'm weak. What? True dude. K-Rock? Give me a hint. Is your name different on there, on Instagram and TikTok? We need to be both God and the devil, good and bad. If you're God or goddess, you are everything. Exactly. And God loves it all. So, like I said, when it comes to, I have 2 different names. Yes. Okay. What's your name on Instagram and TikTok? Because that'll help. You okay, my lovey? Come here. Farouk. Okay. Now this dude want to ignore me. K-Rock. Oh yes. Okay. I'm like, okay. Yes, girl. Okay. Yes. I know who you are. Yes, we do need to do the one-on-one. Yes. Damn, we going crazy. This live popping. You're from Malaysia? Okay, nice. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do. Okay, yeah, message me on Instagram. Malaysia in the house, right? Message me on Instagram, and then we'll talk about us getting into a session. What are we, 23? I wanted to do this 30 minutes. Because I'm hungry. I have not had breakfast yet. I woke up kind of late. But when it comes to the creative business, thank you so much. You're the best. I love you. Thank you. When it comes to the creative business, it really does help. Right, Kenya? It really does help to take up this space, to recognize this space. Because then showing up and doing the things that comes with running a business, it becomes not only effortless but fun. It becomes very pleasurable to learn. I feel like it's interesting now because now I am so obsessed with learning, where I mean in school I did pretty well. I wasn't like a terrible student, but I also I like to learn what I like to learn. So honestly, I will say, I guess I've always been an avid learner, but even more so now, it's like learning, even like getting comfortable with failing. Like, I love failing because I know that when I fail, I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to get closer to what the goal is. So because there is no personal self that's making everything mean something about me, like there's only space, and I'm observing any thoughts of, because this didn't go well, that means that I'm, this, or like just like observing all of this conditioning that is just it's just conditioning. It's not, it has nothing to do with the truth of who I am. The truth of who I am is already fulfilled, whole, enough, in absolute bliss, like blissed out. And like this bliss doesn't mean that there's no longer the sensations that we would typically call pain. You just stop labeling it pain, and from there, that's bliss. To be able to see that you can use your mind to create whatever you desire, whatever experience that you desire, because it is your mind that is creating the filter. Everything in itself is like very neutral, right? We're having these very subjective experiences. And that's just freedom. That's really, really freedom. I love you too. If you're worthy of the problems, you're worthy of the solution. Exactly. Do you know Chinese? I'm Aura. No, I don't. It looks like you're booked for September. I'm not. You know what? I need to, because the time zone, and that's probably been the issue. Yeah, just DM me. Because the time zones are messed up. I never corrected the time zone, so they're on Denver time zone. So it's showing that like, oh, I'm asleep. My schedule has changed. Yeah, just DM me. Just DM me. But yeah, it's the implications. The implications for running a business is just so much more freedom. You know, people worry about burnout, and people worry about, you know, working themselves to the brim, and like everybody's so obsessed with like doing things the soft way, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like, you know, they were too much into like girl boss. I actually read an article about this where she was saying that a lot of women are now they girl boss themselves right back into the idea of like trad wives, right? So now this idea of like being a trad wife, which it's so many extremes into this, but what I feel like became the issue is that the girl boss thing was, there was still this sense of looking for fulfillment in having the accomplishments, having the money, having the prestige, right? There was still this like hole that was trying to get filled. So when they saw that, like, wait, I'm working myself super hard, I'm doing all this work, I'm being passionate, like going for all these things, and there's still this lack. I still feel like I'm missing something, right? Then they said, actually, we don't want a girl boss anymore. We want to stay home, take care of the kids, you know. But what they're gonna find very soon, as someone who has been a stay-at-home mom for the past year, and also ran a business, I will say the running a business has helped me stay sane. Because just being a stay-at-home mom, it's a lot of work, babe. It's like, it's not going to fulfill you in the way that you think it will. So I feel like these people are constantly romanticizing these different ideologies, because what they're really not saying is that they are feeling like they have this hole. They have a God hole. That's what I like to call it. And that's what we like to call it in like AA. Can you please get Samaya? In like AA and you know, when I was in those type of groups, it's like there's this God hole. So no matter where you are and no matter where you go, you look nice. Your hair is like, I don't know, your hair looks good. Oh, maybe because it was like you had the hat on. Okay, but so yeah, you have this like, you have this God hole. What the heck is all this stuff on the bed?
Like the most distracted YouTube line that.
I know, I'm sorry. I mean, that's what happens when you have a kid. It is what it is. I'm gonna be distracted. I have a 15-month-old. But oh yeah, there's this God hole. So I feel like when you recognize the truth of who you are, because you allow enough space that you see through the illusion of the false self, that God hole is seen as also just another sensation in the field of awareness, and that it has never existed. You don't need to find what you are, because you never lost it. You have always been yourself. It's just always been a mistaken identity. Hi, Hayden. It's just always been mistaken identity. So it don't matter what path you go what path you go down in your life. If you do not know thyself, you're always going to come to the same conclusion. Is this it? You're always going to come to that same, what else? It's just never going to be enough. It's like the hungry ghost. That's what it is to not recognize thyself, not know thyself, is you're a hungry ghost. You're never satisfied. You're never fulfilled. And you can try to trick yourself and convince yourself that you are, but it only lasts long enough. And so long the gig is going to be up and you're going to be like brought down to your knees. But the beautiful thing about that is, like, I have this saying that only when you are brought down to your knees can you pray. Or should I say, only when you are brought down to your knees can you surrender. Because a lot of times it's hard for people to hear that nothing's going to make you happy. Like, that's hard when people are like, but they're looking at all the images online and they're believing that it's going to be, let's even go back to the successful business. Like, they're thinking like, once I have the successful business, I'm going to be happy. But it's like, if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy. If like, it'll give you hits of dopamine, but you're going to go right back to it not being enough, because it's not about the external. It's going to shift. It's going to change. The one thing you count on in this life is that things are going to change. It's very ephemeral. I don't know why I can't say this word. Ephemeral. I don't know. If you happen to leave, is it recorded? Yeah. Because I'm about to get off here soon. So it will be, it's going to be under my live. So thank you, Kenya. Have a great day. It's been so nice chatting with you. So yeah, everything comes and goes. So you cannot base your happiness in what comes and goes. You're always going to be disappointed. Put everything into what's stable. And the one thing that's stable in your life is the fact that you are aware. What's a mistaken identity? A lot of people tell me I have identity issues. I will say I'm not. Maybe they're not talking about it in this aspect, but when I'm talking about mistaken identity, I am saying mistaken yourself to be who you perceive yourself to be, which is your conditioned thoughts in your body. If you take yourself to be or let's just even very simple, what you see when you look in a mirror. If you think that's who you are, that's mistaken identity. You are what sees that. You are, that image is coming and going in you. It is not always there, yet you are. So how can that be you? It is only there when you place your awareness on it. So awareness is always prior to what it is aware of. Okay, Kenya. Right? You're ready. You're welcome, Renedy. Because like even with the body, people are so convinced that they are the body, but if you're just sitting in a room, there are no mirrors. You're there. You have no idea you have a body. But then you'll say, I know I have a body because I'll think about, I'll feel a sensation in my hand. You've been taught that's a hand. You just feel sensation. But then you look down and then it's all been conditioned and taught. And I'll go more into this in more private containers if people are interested in that and really exploring and really going down to the intricacies to how to free themselves, because the first path of freeing yourself from the misidentification is seeing beyond your thoughts. That's the first step. But then the trickier part is the body, because there's a felt sensation of being the body, but that's because there's still the story that's going along with the fact that this is a hand and this is an arm. We're just very conditioned. Nothing wrong with it. It helps us to connect and to learn and things of that nature, but it's a hindrance when you think that's all that you are. So it's important to decondition yourself and to start to see through the sensations. But I'll go into that in a more more intimate container, that'll be like behind a paywall, just because it's a lot, and I don't want to give a beginner too much information that they feel like, oh my God, I'm just getting to this point. It's like that will come. So, but when it comes to wrap it all up, and then I'm gonna get off of here. This just helps so much when it comes to running your creative business, because your creative business is going to require a new level of you. It's going to require you to think differently. It's going to require you to move differently. And when you are so obsessed with the identity that you've been taking yourself to be, when you are so obsessed with your story and your conditioning, it's going to be hard. You're going to find that you are burnt out. You're going to find that you don't have the energy. It's not aligned. You're gonna have all these excuses when it comes to running your creative business. You're gonna feel like you don't have the ideas, when really what it is that you are still holding on to this idea of the false self. So when you have no self, ideas flow. You are in the flow state. Everything just works itself out. And you sit there as the witness watching it all. And then you are still also playing in the identity, but like loosely, being in the world but not of the world. I do nothing. It is the God within me that does everything. Yet it appears as if I'm doing stuff, right? You know, when I'm in these seasons where I'm like, you know, producing, like I'm producing videos like every 3 days. I'm posting, and a lot of stuff I am automating, right? I'm getting much smarter in my business. Shout out automations, but I'm creating offers. I'm selling, I'm marketing, I'm writing, I'm posting, I'm going live, like and this has been consistent. And you know, people will say like, how do you have so much energy? What is going on? And it's like, I'm doing nothing. It is the God within me that does everything. I am doing nothing. Like Taylor is doing nothing. Taylor is the mistaken identity. When I stopped identifying as Taylor, God was able to do what it's always been doing. Taylor was just the block. Because Taylor, the conditioned mind, I shouldn't even say I, because I am is not Taylor. I am is I am. I am that I am. Taylor is the vehicle that I am using to navigate in this time and space, in this moment. But it's not the truth of who I am. I am formless. I am nameless. I am no thing. I am everything. If you ask me my name, I'm just going to say I am. But in practical sense, I will say I am Taylor, right? And then I'll talk to you from the perspective of being Taylor. But that's not who I am, and that's not who you are. We've been pretending, wearing these masks, forgetting. Purposeful amnesia. We've been forgetting on purpose, because only when we forget can we remember. Do you think ageism plays a huge role in entrepreneurship? What do you mean by that? Hi, Farouk. What do you mean by like ageism? Like, yeah. Can you just expand a bit on that, please? How's the stream going live? It's going well. It's going well. I'm about to get off here soon, because I said 30 minutes and I'm hungry. Actually, can you start the oatmeal, please? I am so hungry. Please, oatmeal, please. Should it be a certain age one should be an entrepreneur? Oh, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like you start as soon as possible. Start as soon as possible to start learning, to start making mistakes, to start failing. So you can learn from those mistakes, and so that the information can start to make more sense. I feel like when I first started my entrepreneur journey, was about 3 years ago, I came across Dan Coe. Shout out Dan Coe. I always talk about him. And I had bought one of his courses. I was going through the course, and I was just so overwhelmed. It was so much information, and you know, I was trying to run a business. I made $150 my first year in business. It was from his course, but I didn't believe in myself. I didn't understand the foundations. It was just so much. But all of that, like from me starting, when I started now, I would say like the last year has been my first real year in business, where I've been like really dedicated to, doing this, where the first 2 years I was kind of like in and out, playing around. The last year I've been really serious, but that has allowed me to, now I signed up for a Substack or whatever, and he has a course in there, which is very similar to the first course that I bought. But when I tell you, like, and I'm even going through his course again with my boyfriend. When I tell you, because I started and I just have been like making mistakes and learning as I go, the information makes so much sense to me. Where before the information sounded like, do this, womp, 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 womp. But until you like have an actual experience, until you are like in the field, like get in the field, until you get in the field, you're not going to be able to relate that information to you. And the same thing goes with spirituality, manifestation, like anything you can think of without applied knowledge is just words. It sounds good, right? It's mental masturbation. You're just listening and you're taking it in, or you're reading and it feels good when you're reading and you're listening, but until you're actually applying the knowledge, it feels good. So also, what the dopamine detox has got me into is like just application, applying, making mistakes. Yes, having support definitely helps. I would say things definitely shot up for me when I got a coach, because I was trying to figure out everything on my own. I was in mentorships. I was buying courses. I was in like monthly memberships. I was buying courses. I was in YouTube University. I was like doing all the things to figure out how to run a business, but it wasn't until I hired a business coach who was running a business, and they taught me a lot of the foundationals, and from there, like everything just started to take off. Which I feel like maybe I could have figured it out on my own, but it would have took much longer. So that's one thing I wish I would have did when I first got into business, instead of like, I love like, yes, buying courses, but I feel like if you don't have even like a support group, somebody who on the same wave as you, you just don't have that, it's going to be really easy to fall back into your patterns. And I feel like that's what, yes, and I'm going to do that for you. Let's go. Yes. We're going to get you the results, because that's what, what was I about to say? Like the accountability system. That's the like biggest benefit for me, is that you have someone who is holding you accountable, right? I don't know, that wasn't what I was going to say about having a coach. What was I going to say? Like, absolutely, the accountability. It was something else though. And it's also them mirroring to you. I feel like, that's what I was going to say. It's like very, and that goes into accountability. It's very easy to fall back into like old patterns of behaviors, right? So you have a video, right? You have these courses and you're doing these things, but then when you're alone, when you're by yourself, it's very easy to just fall back into your old patterns, because you've been doing these patterns for X amount of years. In my case, like, I didn't hire a coach until I was 26. So it's like for 20, let's say 24, because like I didn't really get my identity until I was 22. But for 24 years, I've been doing things a very specific way. So me watching a video one time, or being in a membership, and like, yes, it feels good to be in there and I'm getting the dopamine hits. But when it comes to, I'm in the middle of a really hard challenge, or life happens, or I'm not as motivated. Because in the beginning, I'm going to tell you, anybody that invested themselves, when you first invest, you are so motivated. It feels so good. You're like, yes, I invested in myself. But then you got to actually do the work. And then it starts feeling like, fuck this, because you got to actually do the work. So then like all the feel good emotions kind of go away, and then it gets real. And then like your motivation dwindles. So with a coach, you have that accountability to keep that. Like, because every week you're like, and this is what I do with my clients. It's like every week we're like, what's going on? How can we bring that fire back? And the same thing with my mentors. It's like, what's going on? How can we bring that fire back? And I'm actually looking for a mentor now, because I am in a group container, which is well, because like I said, having that accountability was great. But now I'm like, when I have a mentor, I fly. So now I'm like, I'm looking for somebody that's in like good alignment with me. So I'm being really picky. I want to be really picky when it comes to like my one-on-one mentorship, but I'm in a lot of mentor spaces right now, just because And another thing is like your nervous system calibrates to them as well. Like your nervous system, if they are someone who can handle large amounts of wealth, right? Large amounts of visibility, large amounts of X, Y, and Z, just by being around them, which is why people say like you are who you are around, your body will like calibrate to theirs, to where you'll start to see these things as normal and your body won't fight it off. So that's another important part of mentorship. But all of that becomes so much easier when the self is no longer in the picture. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you to the people that are here. I feel like K-Rock and Farouk. This has been an amazing live, and I will be talking to you guys soon. I'm about to go eat some oatmeal. Hopefully Farouk started the oatmeal. I'll talk to you guys soon.